You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast, where we've got a packed show for you today. We have England in the West Indies, where the white ball reset hasn't quite been going to plan. They've also released their test squad for the tour of India. Big omission for Liam Dawson, so we'll be getting into that. And in parts 2 and 3, we'll be doing our big IPL auction preview episode. So a perfect time to jump on that bandwagon if you're new to the IPL, and a good time to get back on the bandwagon if you're old to the IPL. I'm Jack Hope. I'm joined by Ross Legg. How you doing, Ross?
Yeah, well, good, thanks, mate. Looking forward to being embarrassed by England again, and then talking about my one true love, which is the Rajasthan Royals. As people on YouTube can see, my Rajasthan Royals top is back in action.
And we've got Max Rowe-brown. How you doing, Max Rowe-brown?
Very good. Let's go. Let's get on with it. Third time lucky.
And we've got Dan Weston calling in. Good to have you back on the show, Dan.
Live from the hospital staff room, actually, in Ward 44. So yeah, I'm getting better. I'm improving day by day. Almost rivaled Ross with the IPL top, but unfortunately, my wife's ill, so she couldn't bring my Punjab top in today to hospital. So got that down. But yeah, no, all good. And I just wanted to say as well, thanks to you guys for your amazing card, which really made me feel so much better last week. And also thanks to any of the listeners who are listening right now who contributed some really kind messages as well, which I really, really appreciated. In fact, might shed a tear or two.
Oh, well, it's good to hear that you're feeling a little bit better. And it's nice that you managed to get those words out with sincerity again after we accidentally forgot to press record on the initial round of introduction. So a true professional at work there. If you're watching on YouTube, a quick reminder to click like and subscribe. We'll be covering, well, over the next few weeks, a little bit more England action. We've got reaction from us to the IPL auction next Tuesday. We've got the Christmas quiz, Ross v Max, coming up. An annual tradition where we look back over the whole year's cricket and Ross and Max do battle to see who has got the best memory recall, basically. And we'll be moving into the new year with that tour I mentioned, England v India. So yeah, like, subscribe, follow wherever. We're on socials at the Cricket Pod, Spotify, Apple, Acast. Does anyone use that anymore? Who knows? Max, can you run over the scores from the West Indies series that England just lost, please?
Absolutely. So England 3-game ODI series in the West Indies, a mixture of hangers-on from the World Cup being put through more torture, and a few fresh faces heralding the reset, as you said, the bright new future of English white ball cricket. Phil Salt and Will Jacks at the top of the order in game 1, getting England off to a flying start. Harry Brook with a nice 70, proving that he is England's future. And a few quick runs down the order as well. England scored 325 in that first game, and it all looked pretty comfortable for them. But Sam Curran melted under the pressure from Shoaib and Romario Shepherd. So on the back of a fairly disappointing World Cup for him. More pain as the West Indies ended up winning that one from a fairly precarious position. You have to say, well played to the West Indies. Incredible display of hitting from Mario Shepherd, and then Shoaib taking over the mantle at the end. He scored 109 of 83. Always the man to destroy England for the West Indies. Game 2, England come roaring back. Sam Curran remembers how to bowl properly, takes 3 quick wickets. England comfortable. Joss Butler scores 50. He's back. All the concerns about his form waylaid. England, it's the turning point. Will Jack scored 73 of 72. He's the future. England, it's fine. We're the best in the world again. Don't worry about it. And that looked like the case in game 3 as well. Bit of rain in affecting that one, but unfortunately, it was not Sam Curran but Gus Atkinson's turn to melt under pressure as Mario Shepherd again scored 41 of 28 at the end of the innings to get the West Indies over the line. So, England lost again. It was pretty sad. But I mean, I think there are some glimmers of hope.
If you're a West Indies
Mostly
fan.
for the West Indies, yeah.
I don't think we're going to spend too long on this. Ross, go to you first. What are your thoughts from this series? Have we learned anything? Does any of this matter? Should we continue to bin off 50 over cricket as England have been for recent years?
I just found it a bit strange that England went straight from the World Cup to then going immediately and playing ODI cricket. I just found that just a really weird thing to go and do. Like, we've just had to sit through and suffer kind of a couple of months of pretty banal cricket that has little to no jeopardy. And here, the only jeopardy that's online is kind of Josh Butler's captaincy, perhaps, or Matthew Mott's job. And yeah, the West Indies had a few debutants in the lineup, and I thought they performed particularly well. Shoaib just loves churning out runs in ODI cricket, and it was kind of good to see. And yeah, England, I'm not really sure what they truly learned from it. Rian Ahmed is a decent prospect. We're now bringing our test players into the ODI side. It's like we are back in kind of the early 2000s. So yeah, it's all a little bit strange, but I was glad to see kind of Phil Salt and Will Jacks given the mantle up top, because their intent does pay dividends. And I thought that there was a couple of bright sparks. Ben Duckett's innings in particular, I thought, showed his adaptability around it. Harry Brook obviously was among the runs. So yeah, there's a couple of things that were highlights, but I'm not really sure we learned much from it, if I'm perfectly honest. Other than England's fast bowling probably isn't that good and quite inexperienced at this level.
I think that's probably fair, and that's where I was going to go next. Dan, when England's batters weren't amazing in the series, but you kind of get the sense that eventually they'll figure that out just because of the amount of talent that they have. They'll cycle through and eventually someone will pull it off. Bowling wise, though, it's a bit nervous. It was another shambles, wasn't it? Any hope there? Like, what's the answer?
Look, I think that England have actually got their talent ID quite wrong in ODI cricket. I'm not sure that they really understand the skill sets that are needed for success in this format. But and you could certainly say that for the batters as well. It's not really a surprise that Ben Duckett did well. For me, he should be in the squad every time. Left-hander, very good against spin, very good at non-boundary run production, keeping the scoreboard ticking and able to hit boundaries when required as well. So for me, it was really pleasing to see him do well. I think Harry Brook's probably going to be a shoo-in now for a number of years in the group. Nice to see Salt and Jacks get opportunities, albeit without a great deal of success. So I mean, the future's bright in terms of names and young players in their 20s who are clearly capable of doing well at this level. I don't have any doubts about that. What I do think that England struggle with a little bit is their bowling lineup construction as well. I don't understand really. I mean, they picked a load of all-rounders for batting depth, particularly in that first game, I think, where Rayhan batted at 10 and Cast was at 9. And Rayhan is a way better batter than a number 10 in ODI cricket. He's got, he's done really well in English cricket domestically, and they've got Sam Curran at 8, and it's almost like they're scared to pick out and out bowlers because of they don't want to compromise on batting depth, because it's almost like they don't trust the batters kind of thing. It's I think Curran is a 7 and a 5th bowler or a 6th bowler. Or 5th bowler, and you can say Livingston is a top 6 batter who's a 6th bowler. Mm-hmm. And both of them are being trusted to bowl full quotas of overs, which is a big problem. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't understand necessarily the faith that the England management have put in Cast. His numbers are pretty mediocre. I think they just like him because he's quick and sort of hit hard lengths, but I think we need more than that at international level. And I was really actually quite disappointed that we didn't see John Turner as well, because I was really looking forward to seeing him bowl. And that's a bowler, I think, who does have some nice potential moving forward. He's got a lot of skills. So for me, England could have learned more. They've still got a lot to learn, and I'm planning on writing about this as well at some point this week too. That's a big problem. So got a bit of reconstruction to do, I think. Bowling wise, I think it's tough though, because there's not that much out there that would be significantly better. Maybe it'd be nice to sort of keep Luke Wood in the picture. And like I said, Turner would have been one that I would pick. But ultimately, I mean, as well, you could say I don't really understand the point of anyone who played some part in the World Cup, with the possibility, exception of Atkinson, who only played a couple of games and was probably just sort of making his way into the England setup. What's the point of bringing them straight to the West Indies after the World Cup? I mean, it makes no sense. Just like Australia decided to
Nice
keep
holiday. It's a nice
players
holiday.
in.
Isn't
Yeah, I think it's a good holiday. Build up to
Yeah.
Christmas.
Some good golf courses there probably as well.
I bet. Yeah. Well, at least beach, snorkeling in between games.
But a couple of others on the West Indies front as well. It's interesting to see that Romario Shepherd's now turned into the new Andre Russell as soon as Mumbai traded him in. We got him in their squad.
We'll get to that later. I think I think we'll draw a line under the West Indies stuff there because we want to pack in. Go on,
sorry. Matthew Ford. And this is a guy I've been tracking for like 2 years. He's done really well in white ball cricket wherever he's gone. I know someone in the West Indies setup and really was very strong on how good he could be. And it was really good to see him get a man of the match on his debut in that third ODI as well. Wouldn't even shock me if he got an NPL bid for 50 lakh or something like that.
Interesting.
There
We're going to move on quickly because we've got loads to cover in the show to the test team. Ross, the series doesn't take place to January, but England on the ball. They've named their 16 men for the series, and I was a little bit surprised at some of the inclusions and omissions. Do you want to run through who's on the plane and give us your first thoughts?
Yeah, well, the reason they've released it so early is because they need to have the media pressure to then change what they've done. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. So there is a couple of call-ups which are a little bit surprising. Shoaib Bashir from Somerset, Tom Hartley is there from a spin bowling contingent, but then you've got Stokes. Rian Ahmed makes his return since his gallivanting in Pakistan, taking wickets. James Anderson, I think, records his 22nd year, I think it is, of Test match cricket. Gus Atkinson, Johnny Bairstow, and Ben Folkes is recalled to the side. And then the unsurprising inclusions of Harry Brook, Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett, Ollie Pope, Ollie Robinson, Joe Root, Mark Wood, and the returning Jack Leach from his stress fracture of the back. So I think it's a bit of a strange lineup. And if I'm perfectly honest, lads, I was quite bullshit about Bazball and I quite enjoyed it. I'm a little bit concerned of what's going to happen to this team in India. Because surely there's some better options out there. I could think of two, just Liam Dawson, mentioned in the intro, and Will Jacks as well. And it kind of feels like England's central contract shenanigans in the middle of the World Cup is coming back to bite them in the arse a little bit here.
Yeah, I can see Dan nodding away. Do you want to give us your thoughts?
Absolutely. 100% about the central contract. So I think they've probably lost control of in terms of determining where Will Jacks is going to play this winter now, probably by not giving him a central contract, which was, I think, an absurd decision. And I've said that for a long time. I think that now, obviously, you can't blame him for going to play SA20. And a lot of people saying, Liam Dawson was in a similar situation, but George DeBell on Twitter has actually confirmed that Dawson wasn't asked. So I presume he's out of favour for some reason. No, I don't know.
He's not good enough. You only take like 49 wickets at 20 in the county championship.
He had an unbelievable championship year.
And average over 30 with a bat, no doubt.
If you could have chosen a season to have just preceding a tour to India, like Liam Dawson would have laid out exactly that path. As like, this is how I get into the England side. It's amazing that he hasn't been considered.
100%. And look, there's two young spinners in the squad, obviously, Bashir, who's only played a handful of games for Somerset, and Tom Hartley. Now, look, they picked them because they're tall and fire it in a bit. And that's the hill they're going to die on in terms of the England management, in terms of working out what they think succeeds in Indian cricket. I'm a bit bit dubious about it myself. But ultimately, if that they are so clear on this in the media reports, so if it doesn't succeed, the questions have got to be asked. And
well, they're just trying to get so Ashwin's tall and Akshar Patel's
Akshar
tall.
Patel. It's not because Akshar Patel destroyed us last time, isn't it? It's like just how you so often see an Australian get a massive IPL contract because he had a good game against India. It's a bit like England's fetish for fast bowling because apparently that's what will if you can bowl over 90 miles an hour immediately. World-class batters can't face it anymore, and they'll just take bags of wickets. Is this the third in the series of just what I don't know?
Hey, imitation is the highest form of flattery, Max, as we know. So
I think the key point as well is that these tall Indian spinners who run for England because they were playing against England's batters, whereas our tall spinners have got to face Kohli and Rohit Sharma and world-class players.
Yeah. They also don't just take wickets because they're tall. They take because they're quite good.
They're quite good, yeah. And actually, it's quite interesting because obviously Lancashire signed Nathan Lyon. That's Tom Hartley county for those who don't follow English domestic cricket. And Shoaib Bashir is Jack Leach's county, Somerset, as well. And there's a pretty high chance, in my opinion, that both of them actually won't play a lot at the start of next season unless they were to go on loan. So England has effectively picked two spinners who are not guaranteed to play a great deal of county cricket, at least in the first half of the season, I would have thought. Which is another interesting thing. The fact as well, they've picked four paces. I think Stokes won't be fit to bowl, so the balance has gone out the window straight away. You've got four paces. You've got two who are really injury prone, Ollie Robinson and Mark Wood. You've got Atkinson, who's never played Test cricket, and you've got a 41-year-old who, I mean, if that doesn't scream disaster waiting to happen, I'm not sure what actually does. And if England,
I think we're going to play three spinners. I think we're just going to do it. I think England are going to look to play spin bowling, and they're going to be decided, right, what would India do if they were playing in this situation? They're going to play three spinners. I think that's what we're going to try and
There's
achieve.
one problem with that. India have got better spinners, and India have got better batters in their home condition.
Well, I mean, when you put it like that, there's not a lot they could have done anyway. Why not? Why not hit the random number generator on which spinner they're going to pick to just come along for the ride? I mean, because realistically, you look at that squad and it's mostly the England team and a couple of hangers-on who are just, I don't know, they were like, let's pick that guy. It's almost as if they need to seem like cricket edgelords. It's like, here's the team, but also let's just pick someone who no one expected because it'll make us look interesting and broody.
Do you think they might have done it so they've got an excuse? We pick the kids and stuff if they go and get smashed.
No, I think what they've done is they looked at what Australia did, picking two kind of unheralded spinners, Kuhneman and what was his name, Todd Murphy, and they're hoping for the best. I think that's they've said pretty openly that they don't think that records in the county championship amount to much when it comes to Test matches. So I think they've looked at what Australia took. They've been like, who have we got that most resembles Marcus Kuhneman? And this is what they've ended up with. I mean, I like Ross said right at the beginning, I think this is a team that's going to lose 5-0. But yeah, unless there's like an inexplicable road included for some reason, occasionally that happens, doesn't it? So that Kohli can get a ton. But yeah, that's the only sort of logic that I can think to apply to the situation is that they looked at what Australia did.
I'm going to go on record right now and say that if this squad that's picked, if that is the squad that is available for all 5 Test matches, if England win more than one Test match, they'd have done exceptionally well.
I don't think they're going to win a Test match. I think they might draw one. That's my take.
Is it rain forecast at that point? Is it raining?
No, I think there'll be a flat deck because there'll be one game where the series is dead. It's 3-0 India, and it'll be time for Virat Kohli to get 100, and so there'll be an absolute road. Well, yeah, it may be a 200. but that sort of works.
Maybe
both ways.
one
We
for
saw
Sugar
that.
Gills to get 402. Maybe
We
that's
saw, we saw that exact thing happen in Ahmedabad, didn't we? In the Australia series, much earlier this year. Anyway, I think that's enough on the test team. I'm sure there'll be more fallout from that. Should we take a break, boys, and then we can come back with the main event for this show and start talking some IPL?
Mm.
sounds good.